a little bit, maybe like 1 or 2 more minutes before we get started. We just want to let you know that this meeting is being live streamed and this meeting is being recorded.
So I will talk about first and third.
44.
I would say.
Good start.
Yes.
Great start. Wow.
Good evening, Connie, as she writes in the chat.
Good evening. Good evening.
Good evening, everyone.
Oh, this is great.
Okay. The time is now 6:03. I am your host. First of all, good evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone. I want to welcome you guys to Queens North Family Forum. I thank you guys for being here, for taking the time to be here. We are your team, Queens North. I'm going to start myself by introducing myself. My name is David Swift. I have the honor of being the Family Leadership Coordinator for Queens North High Schools. I think we should just pass it down. I'm gonna pass it to my colleague Eduardo. You want to introduce yourself?
Hi, good evening, everyone. My name is Eduardo Duarte. I'm Family Support Coordinator for the school district. I handle the 311 complaints, and I'm also working on various projects to increase parent and community engagement in our schools. I'll be sharing with you through the chat and through our YouTube channel how to visit our website, which has been going through some improvements in the past few days. Thank you. And now I'd like to introduce our superintendent, Dr. Hua Tzu.
Good evening. Welcome. So glad you can take time tonight to join us for our very first family forum. We have an amazing team of experts here to answer any and all questions you may have about anything and everything. So I'm bouncing it over to our very amazing Executive Director, Anthony Stifler.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. So happy to see that you've all, come out tonight to join us. Our goal with this is to just have an open forum where you can meet with us, make connections, connect faces to names, ask your questions. Our goal is to be able to answer them on the spot, or to be able to research them and get back to you, as soon as possible. But this is really just a connections creating type of thing that we're going to do on a monthly basis. So, the floor is yours tonight, and we will do our very best to answer your questions now. And if not now, then we will follow up. But hopefully this is a partnership building activity and exercise also. So thank you so much for coming out. We're up to 66 people. That is, a nice number. Please, as time goes on, share your experience tonight. Hopefully at some point we have 600 people on this. But I do want to, tip my hat to the team. They have volunteered to be here tonight. They are the content experts for the district. You're going to have literacy, you'll have English language services, special education support, ISS, right, Abby? We're going to, this is a good spot for us to push that dynamic. Literacy, math. So there is a plethora of expertise in the room tonight, and I encourage you to leverage it. And at this point, I am going to pass it over to our Deputy Superintendent, Lenine Gibson.
Evening, everyone. Glad to meet you all. A little under the weather, but I hope that you get your questions answered and that you utilize the expertise that's here in the room to support your needs at this time. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so what kind of skipped over, I want to introduce if every member of the team, we could pass it on. Doyle, you want to start? Every member of the team can just introduce themselves and just briefly state your content area. We'll start with Doyle.
Sure. Hi, good evening, everyone. My name is Bill Doyle on Superintendent 2's team. I work with schools primarily that are TSI, which means targeted support intervention. So those are a few schools. And then I also work with schools for AP for All and for CTE. And I'm going to turn it over now to Anna McDonald.
And good evening, everyone. Anna McDonald. I am the science lead on the team, and I'm excited to be here. Gina.
Hi, everyone. Good evening. My name is Gina Separano. I am the literacy lead for Queens North High School. So thank you for being here, and I look forward to this partnership. So I'm going to turn it over to Miss Abby Lewis.
Hi, everyone. Welcome. Thank you so much for being here. I am the administrator of special education. So any and all questions, if you have a child that has an IEP or you think that they may have special needs, please get in touch with me. Thank you. Antoinette.
You're still muted there.
Sorry. Hi, I'm Antoinette Tucci. I am the MLL Service Administrator for Queens North High School District under the Superintendent of Dr. Huatu. I am here to support you with all of your ENL needs. So I'm hoping to be able to support you tonight and going forward. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. Did we miss anybody from the team?
Yes, you missed Ms. Jahota.
Okay,
Hello,
I didn't see.
hi. This is Rosemary Jahota. I'm the Director of Mathematics. Very pleased to be with all of you this evening and welcome the conversation.
There we go. Thank you for that, Ms. Gibson. All right, so with every member of the team introduced, how we're going to do this, I guess some meeting norms. Just please be respectful. What we're going to use is the raise your hand feature. And once I have you guys, it's going to show up in order that you raised your hand. And then you can also put questions in the chat if you don't feel comfortable as far as, raising your hand and speaking. And I understand that. So some people might feel a little more comfortable putting your hand in the chat, and we'll try to get to those questions. We'll try to get to all your questions tonight. So if you guys want to start raising your hands, and if we don't, I'll tell you towards at the end to put your questions in the chat, maybe leave a contact information, and we will definitely get back to you if we don't have time this evening. So like I said, like my colleague Stifler said, this really is an open forum for you guys to be able to have access to us, to be able to bring any questions that you have, any concerns. And so we have our first hand. If I don't, forgive me if I say names wrong. Nilofer, you want to unmute? Oh, and I'm sorry. So we ask that everybody stays muted, and only the person who is speaking unmutes. Okay. So go ahead, Nilofer. You can unmute.
Yes. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yes. Okay. My question is, we had lottery system in the previous years, and I'm not sure if we still have it this year. Could you clear that up for me, please? Because I'm so confused about the lottery system in the public schools also.
Are you asking about the lottery system?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so you're asking about the lottery system.
Are you talking about high school enrollment?
High school enrollment, some of the school that I want has the lottery system, which is not 100% sure if the child will be accepted. They don't look regularly, but work as lottery system.
Oh, I can give you general information, and then I will put more information in the chat. So this year, the lottery system is slightly different. It has gone back to before the pandemic, where students for screen schools, not op-ed, not zone school. This is only for screen schools, meaning they have certain academic requirement, either 85 average or above or 90. So the top 15% of students based on their 7th grade average of the core classes. So that would be English, math, social study, and science. The top 15% would fall under bucket 1. They will be matched first to their selected screen schools, and then student with averages below the 15%, the next group will be bucket 2, and so on and so forth. What I will do now is pull the average and put it in the chat so you have that. The lottery would be within the bucket. So it is much smaller percentage of students per bucket based on their average. Does that answer your question to start with?
Start with actually, yes. So if I understand correctly, if let's say the student's general average from all her or his classes, let's say over 90, like 90 to 100, there will be more chances to get in?
That would be the understanding. They would fall under bucket 1.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. Let me see if I see anybody else's hand up.
Nilofer has her hand up.
She just went.
Oh, okay.
Carolyn Guerrera in the chat has a question. Townsend Harris is not a specialized high school. It is a screen high school.
Hello, I have some question.
Is that Hunter or Maria?
This is Alice.
Alice? Okay,
Yes.
I'll take your question, Alice. Go ahead, Alice.
Yes. I have question for the France Louis High School. The program is engineering and robots. For
Okay.
this program apply. So this like need a screen, need the keys, the score, right? The eighth grade, the score.
I'm sorry, I'm not clear as to your question. You're asking if there's a screen on that school and what is the score for that screen?
98. The 8th grade, no, 7th grade, right? Last year, the final score is 98.
So Alice, I think I can answer that. It is not the exact number as much as it is the percent of students. So if the student is scored the top 15% across the city, then it's bucket 1. So within that bucket, you would have student with 98 average, you can have student with 92 averages, you can have student with 95. So the exact number is after the city have taken all the applicant for the screen school, that's when they would know.
Yes,
So-
we live in the Flushing. The zip code is 11361. So just want to make sure apply for the Francis Louis High School, the program, engineer and the robotics. So this need a screen, right? This
That's
program.
correct.
Yeah. So I just want to ask how much the score the kids the 7th grade needed, because my kids the 7th grade final the score is 98.14. So it's available or possible applying the seat.
So Alice, I think having a 98 average is a wonderful accomplishment. The exact matching of student actually happens with enrollment. So at this time, it would be premature for me or anyone to say if it's a definite or not. So I would say submit the application and make sure you rank who you want first. And you'll find out this year, we are going to find out earlier.
Okay,
Okay, thank you.
you're welcome. And if and when you do get your, I'll leave my email in the chat. If and when you do the application, you have any questions, I'll leave my email, and then you can email me for any clarity. And we can work that out with enrollment, because enrollment usually handles that. So I'm gonna go Hunter. Dare, you had your hand up. You want to unmute?
Okay, thank you. So, I mean, I think it's fantastic that we return to a system where kind of the group 1 for screens is much smaller than it was last year. But one of the concerns with the system is that you have some of our schools were highly screened for middle school. And so you have a great deal of kids that are very strong academically, and you may be in the 3rd group of your middle school, where had you been at some other middle school, you would easily be in the 1st group. And so one of the problems is kind of a lack of some kind of thing like the standardized test or the state test to kind of look at compare grades, 2 kids that have similar grades at different schools, that those standardized tests would allow them to have some comparison across those kids. And so I'm wondering if, as we look toward next year, if Queens North or the DOE as a whole is thinking about some kind of return to some objective measure that allows comparison of kids across schools when they're looking for screen programs.
Thank you for that question. The city continues to take family feedback, and this year's enrollment is a direct result of those feedback, and we will continue to gather feedback, gather information to make sure that year over year, our enrollment mirrors what the family's asking for.
Thank you, Hunter. All right. Fedkowski.
Yeah, perfect, David. Perfect.
Thank you. Thank you.
I know the J threw you off.
The J threw me off for a second. I didn't know what to do with that one. But Fedkowski,
Yeah,
I was like, maybe the J silent.
It is exactly. It is
All right.
exactly. Well, thank you very much. Thank you for offering this opportunity. So my situation is not complicated at all, but my son has an interest in Aviation High School, and it's a screen school, and there are 2 codes for Aviation High School. One has an opportunity of anyone with a 92 or higher, and then one has an opportunity with 87 and higher. And unfortunately, he's at like 91.5, so he can't take advantage of both codes. At least I think he can't. The question is, he also has an interest in another school, and he's concerned that if he puts that other school on his application and it's 3rd instead of 2nd, he might not get selected for it because he doesn't want to waste a spot, right? Because if that 2nd code for aviation, if he doesn't meet the qualification, I'm just question is, would he be wasting a spot by putting it on there if the screen is clear to say 92 or better?
So you're asking, would he be wasting a spot if he put aviation, the first one as number one, aviation, the second one is number two, and then the third school that he wants to go into is number three?
Correct. That is correct.
Okay.
So I wanted to just say Maria's question is similar to yours.
Can we all just mute, please?
Does she have any?
Thank you,
wanna-
Eduardo.
Sorry, I didn't want to. So I was going to say, Mr. Fidelsky, I think David did a better job. Your question is similar to Maria's question. And so I'm going to try to explain this. When I was principal, this is how admissions explained to me. And then I also think maybe at our next family forum, we invite someone from enrollment who has the algorithm down pat. So this is how we have been advised, and we would advise our student. If you really want that school, you make sure you put it first. You make sure you put it first. Because if someone else put it first and you put that school, say 10th, as Maria asked, that person, if the score is close enough, will get the offer before you because you put it 10th. It is, I call it match made on cyberspace. If you put it first, the school match you first, that's a lock. If you put it first, the school did not rank you first, the chances are lower. If the school put you first, but you put the school lower in the list, the chance is lower. The exact algorithm, I think I'm going to defer to our colleague from enrollment, so we'll make sure we take that back and schedule another call specific to enrollment.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, so there was a question in the chat. Maria asked, is this meeting about high school admissions only? I wanted to clarify that this meeting is not about high school admissions. And I think Dr. Tu explained that very correctly, that since now that we see there are a lot of concerns about high school admissions, in the future meeting, we'll have somebody from enrollment come so they can further answer your questions, because our answer is going to be the same as far as the guidance that we have. That is given to us, because we are not enrollment. So we were here actually, we have everybody from their content areas to answer specific questions as far as social studies, ELA, science, math, and also for families who had any questions or concerns. So the next one I have on the list, I have here with the hand raised, is Carlene Guerra.
Gary,
Okay,
that's okay.
Gary.
You did
I'm
well.
sorry.
So I did ask a question earlier in the chat, and Miss Sue answered, but I'm not sure I'm clear on the special. She said it's not a specialized school, but it is a screening school. What do we mean by that? A screening school?
Specialized high school, there are 8 of them in the city. Students need to take the specialized high school aptitude test, the
test that I am aware of. What about the screening?
Townsend Harris with other school as screen, they have an academic screen, meaning student needs to have at least a 90 or above average from their 7th grade core classes to be considered.
I see. Okay. Thank you.
All right. Thank you for that. The gentleman, it says iPhone guest, you have your hand up. You're still muted. You want me to?
Yeah,
unmute?
okay.
Oh, there you
Good
go.
evening. Yes, my name is Joseph Chow. I retired from the system 2 years ago. I'm sorry people are bringing up high school admissions. I have a different kind of concern.
Okay.
I'm not sure what this meeting was all about. I got an email, so I had to join, But anyway, my concern is this. Francis Louis High School has an engineering program. It's a 3-year program. The 3rd year student needs to be at least taking calculus in order to survive. It's better if they're taking pre-calc the 1st year, the 2nd year take calculus, 3rd year take engineering, but we understand that's very limited number of kids. So they should start with geometry, take trig, hopefully pre-calc, the teacher can teach some of the calculus they need in order to survive the course. Now, the way the admission works, they only look at 4 subjects. So you can get a 65 in Spanish, 65 in art or music. As long as you maintain the other average high, you'll be okay. Now, middle school 67 have kids taking algebra in 7th grade. You have other schools that kids take 7th grade math. If you do the average, you're looking at two different kids. The kids in taking calculus, taking algebra in 7th grade in 67 has a shot at finishing engineering with a high grade. Now, in addition, if you take a student who took 7th grade regular math, who apply for engineering, they get in because they have a 92 average. You take another kid who has a 91 average or 92 average from 67, they took geometry in 8th grade. You're talking about two different kids. A gentleman before mentioned standardized test. I understand they don't want to use standard test because that keeps a certain group out, but they need to do something because I don't know what Francis will do because I think they're taking 80 kids. If 30 of them never had algebra, those kids won't survive engineering. They have to take something else. And that's very misleading because the poor parents and poor children will be very, 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 very upset because they can't take engineering because they're 2 years behind in math. That's all. I just have a concern.
Thank you for your concern.
They need to get rid of the lottery. They need to look at standardized tests. They need to improve schools. There are also a large number of schools, I would say more schools than not, offering fake math classes. They gave everybody algebra the first year. Those who pass the algebra take geometry, real geometry. Those who fail the algebra regions because they didn't meet the graduation requirement, they also take geometry course called geometry, but they really do algebra. Those are the issues we have to address. We have to improve the quality of education instead of cheating the parents.
Thank you.
I'll take that up with the chancellor sooner or later when I get pissed enough.
Thank you.
Thank you, David.
You're welcome. All right, I did have, I hope you can unmute yourself. We had Alyssa O'Shea from CCHS. She wanted to ask a question.
Hi, good evening. I can't raise my hand for some reason. Good evening, Dr. Tu. Good evening, David.
Hi.
Just wanted to introduce myself and then ask a question. So I'm Elisa O'Shea, and as David said, I'm one of the Queens reps for the Citywide Council on High Schools. So if you have a child in a public high school or even a child who's considering a public high school for next year, you are more than welcome to attend our monthly meetings. We discuss issues that are important to all the citywide schools in different portfolios, including Queens North. I had a quick question about well, first, I just want to say that today there was a loaded gun found in a District 30 high school. And this is a question we get a lot from parents about school safety. And we had Mark Rampersant, who is from DOE, from the safety office, come last month to talk to us. My question tonight is, I understand that there might be a pilot program starting soon, a pilot program to test like locking front doors of the buildings. Is there any chance that we could get a Queens North High School into that pilot program? Thank you.
Hi, this is Deputy Soup Gibson. We actually do have a school already who's piloting that program, specifically District 30.
Is it it's a high school? Yes.
Yes, it is. It's a high
okay.
school.
I'd be
Yes.
interested in more information about how that pilot's going. Can I contact you to follow up on that?
Sure, it's L. Gibson
Okay.
4. L. Gibson
Okay.
4. Mhm.
And I also just want to advocate for more school safety officers and more metal detectors as needed in different buildings rotating. You know, we know that there's a high need, especially around the school areas, which the school safety officers, sometimes they're able to go out and, you know, when dismissal's happening, go into the immediate area, but there's a shortage, as we know. And so the more that we can get in those positions with competitive pay, especially, the better it'll be. Thank you so much for addressing my question.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. Thank you for such a good question. I'm sorry. My coworker, Stifler, you had your hand up.
Yeah, I just wanted to make a point about specific criteria for specific high schools. If you go into the My Schools account and the information is there's a calendar of open houses. That's probably one of the best ways to get information on schools you might be interested in. Each day, more and more schools are posting their information on there. It is a very good spot to go and check out particular criteria about high schools you may be considering. I just wanted to put that out there so everybody, takes a note when they're going through that page.
Thank you, Stifler. I did want to address Allison. When you had Mark Ramperson there, I know that there are graduating classes. Did he give you the specific numbers of the graduating classes? Because we have more agents that are graduating in, I think a January class and then another class towards the end of the year. Did he give you the specific numbers on that?
He did. Let me see. I have my notebook here. I believe it was about, I want to say 180 to 200. Let me just see if I wrote it down.
That's great.
I believe there was an incoming number of school safety agents, but it's still not enough. A lot of schools who had maybe 4, say, are down to 1 or 2. So some of the bigger high school campuses, I mean, I deal specifically with high schools, so I'm sure at the middle and lower school level, because there was a loaded gun at a junior high school in District 28 like a month ago. So, it's not just the high schools, but I believe there is an incoming class. It's just, there's just not enough. It's hard to attract people. A lot of them leave for the corrections careers because they pay a little bit better. So, that's what we're finding. But I will try to get that data. I don't have it right in front of me, but we're hoping we can attract even more.
I just wanted to know if you
Yeah.
had it right there on hand, because I don't have it either. I have it in my notebook at work, and I'm sorry I left it.
I
'cause
mean,
I'd
he
have been able
reviewed
to
the Project
address that 'cause you
Pivot.
made it, yeah.
Yeah, he went through Project Pivot quite a bit with us. There was a lot of questions about that new program, working with the CBOs and the community. And they talked about a task force to help protect the corridor, which is what I was asking about, the corridor around the schools, which a lot of parents ask, getting to public transportation is a little dangerous sometimes if there's a lot of kids at one time, and, how much can the school safety officers do? So, they're trying to create a task force for that. I know he spoke a little bit about that. So thanks, David.
No problem. No problem. For those of you that are just joining us, we are Queens North High Schools. We are the Queens North High School Superintendent's Office. We have here Superintendent 2. We have our Deputy Superintendent, Lainey Giston. We have our Executive Director, Anthony Stifler here, and we have many of our colleagues who are specific in content areas as far as math, sciences, special ed, ELA, and all the different content areas. We're using this platform right here, this forum, for you guys to be able to have access to us to bring up your concerns. Again, we have had a lot of questions on admissions, so now that lets us know in the future we should have a representative from admissions. We just had a safety concern, so now that lets us know when we do this again, and we're going to try to do this as often as possible, like Stifler said, monthly, so you guys can bring your questions and your concerns. So we're going to try to have somebody here from school safety, safety, more than likely to be able to answer those concerns. I saw another question about Energy Tech is not one of our high schools. It's just the way the DOE zone schools. Energy Tech is not one of our high schools. You can see our website link in the chat that shows you every one of our high schools. And you can find more information there. And then Keisha JJ had a question. Can someone speak to how often metal detectors are tested, maintained, and replaced? Dad, who was on the job, was able to gain entrance into his child high school, and his service weapon was not detected. So I know from my personal experiences of working in the schools, every morning that those metal detectors are put up, they are tested every single morning. And then they are known when they are misfunctioning, they're taken out of rotation, and they're to be put on the side until they can get fixed. I don't know of this certain particular instance of what high school that you're talking about, so I cannot speak onto that one. But I do know that metal detectors are tested each and every morning before they're set up. And then to give a little context, I started my career in the DOE and I started in Queens South. And about a year and a half ago, I had the fortune of coming up to Queens North High Schools. And I found that only 2 of our schools had metal detectors. And I asked, why is that? And it was because parents did not want metal detectors in the school for whatever reason. But now we're seeing a plethora of concerns and the parents are asking for concerns. So
And
again, the parents have the power here. So
it's
we
not,
want to give you guys
it's
a
not
voice.
just parents, it's administration too.
Can somebody, so if you'd like to speak, just put your hand up and I'd love to give you the opportunity to get to speak and to give your
Thanks
voice.
for that, David. I appreciate clarity on that. So this was a very recent incident in one of Queens North School, actually last week at a college fair. A detective, he's a dad, he was on the job and he was able to walk through the scans and his service weapon was not detected.
Okay. Keisha, give me 1 second. Yeah.
Can I just, I'm going to put my phone number in the chat. I'd like to speak with you tomorrow about this, or even maybe tonight after we're done.
It's not just the school. It's not
Sure,
just the parents.
absolutely.
Okay.
Oh, not even that's a question.
I'm
like, it's not just.
So what we're gonna do right now, I'm gonna break it to Eduardo. Eduardo is gonna explain the breakout rooms, so you can break out to any room within the content area. And if you'd like to stay in this room, he'll give you the explanation. Now we can stay in this room. And sir, if you wanted to continue to have your voice, I'm gonna be in this room. So I'd love to have that conversation with you. So Eduardo, I'm gonna kick it to you to do some breakout rooms.
Hi, good evening, everybody. So we have created breakout rooms for you to join at will. Their title, and I'm going to make them available now. So we have a breakout room for science, for special education, literacy, ELL services, and family engagement. Okay, so I'll make the breakout rooms available for you to join.
Before you do that, Niloufer has her hand raised again.
Sure. There's like 12 high schools that we need to list of, but I have no other than 2 high schools which I want her to go. So what happens if I put just 2 choices on the list?
The advice is to put as many as you can. If you only put 2 and neither of the 2 schools are matched to your child, then you would have to resubmit your application again until there's a school that's of a match.
Okay.
Okay.
How are we doing, Eduardo? Ready to open them up?
Yes, I'm opening the breakout rooms now. One moment, please.
Ms. Frank has her hand raised.
Yes. Go ahead, Ms. Frank. You're muted. There you go. Perfect.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
My sons both attend John Bowne. And what I found this year is I was surprised that the J train would be on a shuttle during school as soon as back to school started. So for the first 3 weeks, their commute turned to a 4-hour commute.
Wow.
I want to know who's responsible for that. Between the chancellor and our mayor, who in the world decided that any train at the height, at the start of school would be on a shuttle system for 3 to 4 weeks? That completely that really broke down the momentum of my children, and it also broke down the immune system. They were exhausted, off track. They were taking hours to get home, and they've been sick. Like immediately, they constantly had sore throats, coughing, colds. We've caught COVID for the first time, and now my son is out with the flu. And the major issue, that the major feedback I'm getting from teachers is their attendance. And if we have a consensus that you should stay home if you're not feeling well and to protect others, how can we still impose the same requirements on attendance? I'm saying that to say that I don't understand why between the DOE and the mayor's office, we didn't have a hybrid education structure post-COVID, because it's not just my children. Everyone is constantly sick. If it's not faculty, teachers, and the fact that masks are not mandated, I really can't even make my sons wear masks because it's not the majority to do. So they're constantly sick. And there's no COVID testing. The budget fund is cut for that. There's no mask mandates. So where are we going with this? This is a health crisis going on right under our noses. And I don't see how we're going to be successful to build, consistency with going to school and being healthy.
Thank you for your question. I want to ask before we get to, because you said a couple of things. Is the J train still on the shuttle?
The J train is back on the regular route.
It's back on the
since
regular route.
September the 21st. Yes.
Okay, so it
But
was
the
the first
bus,
couple of weeks of school that it was like that.
and I
Okay.
haven't been able to. Now they're on a habit loop that has not been able to been broken. They were getting up at 5 a.m. and still making it to school for 10. It's hard to break the habit loop for that. And then they go to a really big school. It's like 4,000 kids there. So they're waiting 2, 3, 4 buses because of the way the bus system, I guess the buses that run there, even though they're huge buses, they're extremely packed. So I don't know what the solution is. I sent in a report to that bus line that maybe they should have more buses on the line so the children can get home sooner. I know I didn't bring that up, but it's just a lot going on.
Okay, so our break rooms are ready. I just have to put on the options. The breakout rooms will close automatically at the end of the meeting, but we'll still have presence in the main room, and we'll be instructing our guests to join a breakout room of their choosing.
I'm sorry, do we have an option to stay in this room? Or is it just the examples that were given? I mean, the titles that were given.
Yeah, so you can stay in this room. David will be
Okay.
here. Members of our team will
stay in the
continue
room.
to be here.
Okay, because I guess I think I didn't close out with the question. The question is, how likely is it that mass and COVID testing, random testing will be brought back into our school system?
We'll have to look into that question for you. As of now, we have not received guidance around any of those 3 you mentioned. What we do know is that COVID number across the city continues to be low. Therefore, all of that have been lifted. But I will find the answer for you, and then we'll circle back and give you what we know from Central.
You're welcome, Ms. Frank. We get our guidance from we get our guidance. And so we're subject to the guidance that we get. And we do hear your concerns, and we do bring forth your concerns, and, you know, certain platforms like what was brought up earlier, the CCHS is another opportunity, meetings like this that go on where they have the voice and they have certain people that are able to come in and elevate your voices, you know, just the same way that we try to do here. All right, Miss Iris Allen, you have your hand up?
The breakout, so sorry, David, the breakout
yeah.
rooms are open. At Wardo, we are waiting for a math room.
Okay, checking to see if I can add one once the meeting is in progress.
Oh, I don't think you can.
No, it's not allowing me, unless I close out all the breakout rooms and then reopen them, but that would be interrupting me.
Let's do that. I'll let the folks know we only have 2 people in each room anyways. Let's do
Okay.
that.
Okay, I'm gonna close all rooms.
Thank you.
This is Iris Allen. I guess I was going back to what the parent just raised a question about transportation. I guess I'm just wondering, I guess I'm trying to think of a way, like you said, to help. I guess if we're noticing issues with transportation, should she contact the DOE's Transportation Bureau? Or, because I understand what she's saying, if you're trying to get your kids and then all of a sudden there's a transit issue, and again, the city the Department of Ed provides our children a MetroCard to get to school. I guess who should we contact if our kids are having issues on the transportation to get there? Because I'm guessing she does raise a good question, because my daughter ran into that problem going home when she would go attend swimming at Franklin K. Lane. She told me about the whole shuttle, and she was trying to get back to Jamaica Center to catch the railroad to Far Rockaway. So she was like, Mom, I couldn't imagine if I was one of these schools along these ways, how do they get to school? So I guess that is a good question for parents. Who should we contact if we have transportation issues? And trying to get our kids to and from school.
So I'm going to try to answer, and I'm going to let my colleagues add to this. 311 is always your first go. You can 311 any transportation issues. You can also bring it up to your school, because 311, like Eduardo says, he gets 311s. If you mention the name of the school and the transportation issue, we'll get it. Also, if you bring it up to your school and ask them to elevate it, we'll get it. We did notice one transportation issue. We've been on community walks. I've had the pleasure of doing community walks with the superintendent this year. And we did, it's sort of like this, but we went out, we met with the community, we met with each school, we either walked the community or walked inside of the school, and had the students, parents, teachers, admin able to talk to us and let us know exactly, the issues and concerns. And one school did bring up a transportation concern. And so we had the students create the student government, create a petition. We got them to talk to local politicians and to be able to talk to people from MTA, and hopefully that would be changing. Their issue would be changing pretty soon, and within the next couple, before the school year is over. So, and also, with Queens North high schools, I put my email in the chat. I'll put it again. Any kind of transportation issue, you could bring to me, and I'll see exactly what I could do and how I could support it in any way. The breakout rooms were temporarily disabled because we were missing one. So we're just adding that one breakout room, and then we're gonna go back to the breakout rooms. Okay.
Swift, I just want to say, sort of echo what you said too with transportation. Any issues with that, we'll do our best to answer or be the one-stop shop for you, because it is another agency. If it's bus service through Office of Pupil Transportation, we can help with that, of course, but we'll also, try to cut out the red tape for all of you with any kind of transportation issues, even if it's not our own agency. So, just as David said, reach out to us, and we'll advocate for you.
And we appreciate you letting us know, because we don't know. You know, we wouldn't know unless you let us know. You know, we're in a different office, although we do visit schools. Some of us visit schools throughout the day. Some of us take public transportation. Some of us don't. So me personally, I wouldn't know anything about public transportation. It scares me to get on. No, it doesn't really scare me, but like I just don't do it. You know, and it's a little rough. The breakout rooms, yes, they're open now. I believe they are open now, if everybody got the prompt. Oh, Yafa, did you have another question? Because your hand was still up. Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yes, I wanted to rebuttal on contacting the school. So I did actually contact the school, and the attendance person said it wasn't a major issue. They just needed to let them know. And what I found later on in a couple of weeks, that my sons weren't allowed to take certain tests. They didn't get, even though I had communicated with their guidance counselors, they had missed certain tests. They weren't able to make those tests up anymore. So I had a whole lot of issues. In hindsight, even though I did my due diligence to communicate with the school and MTA of what was happening, and even though the J line is running, it takes my child approximately 2 hours to reach school, which they are out of the district. But that's, you know, it takes a while, and I don't know how to navigate that between I didn't know anything about North Queens. I wish I would have known about you guys earlier, but I know now that I have advocates. So my second issue is I was invited by the PTA to attend a meeting Thursday. Because I'm not vaccinated, for my own personal reasons, I don't have that right anymore. I'm excluded from being present on behalf of my children in a school with unvaccinated children and faculty and staff that's unmasked. It doesn't really make logical sense. Why are parents excluded from attending in person in an environment that has unvaccinated human beings in it, regardless? So I'm limited on what I can do. And I noticed that communication with teachers is, you know, they don't feel required to really respond to you, because they know that they're most likely never going to see you in person. I sent an email on behalf of my children being out, and 2 weeks later, I didn't receive any response. I didn't receive a response until I actually CC'd the principal and assistant principal of the school 2 weeks later. So could you imagine sending teachers an email and a group of 15 or 20 teachers and only one responds? How unprofessional. So this is what we're dealing with. I don't have a voice. I feel like I don't have a voice, and I don't really have any right to really be an active parent as I'm accustomed to post-COVID.
David, I think it would be helpful, maybe if we connect Ms. Frank to the parent coordinator of Bound, right? Make that direct connection, because Yafa, you don't need to be looking around. The parent coordinator is your first line of defense. So let us do that direct introduction, then you would have that point person at your disposal.
Well, since I sent the email, the email on last night, the parent, I did contact the PTA, and he's put me in contact. So that has already been taken care of as today. That's why I'm here today. I wouldn't know about this meeting without them introducing me.
Okay, so you're in contact with Jose Rodriguez?
Correct.
Okay. All right. So I'm gonna follow up with Jose in regards to you and your situation. Okay, and it's YAFFA and Frank. Okay.
And then everyone else, please know that the breakout rooms are open. We have all the content area lead in there. All you have to do is go to the 3 dot on the bottom right with more. If you click on that, there's join breakout, a screen will pop up and you can pick the topic, and when you're done with your question, you can go to another room. Our colleagues are there to answer your questions. And of course, you can always stay here because David will be here.
I'm sorry, I got a little lost.
All right, David, I'm transferring the host role to you so I can join the family engagement room.
Not a problem. Okay, I want to go back because I don't want to feel Gary N. We were talking about metal detectors, and he said in certain schools, administration does not want metal detectors as well, or random scanning. That may be the case. But like I said here in this, we always tell parents, we work for you. You guys have the loudest voice in the room. Students and parents always have the loudest voice in the room. And so if this is something that, as a collective, you guys feel need change, let's bring about change. If that's something that you feel is necessary for your child to be safe in certain schools, we can only just help you and support you in that work. Again, if we're not the people that make the policy, but we can do whatever it is that we can to help, and that's why we're here. S. Lee, you want to unmute? I see you have your hand raised.
Hi, as a parent of a 7th grader, I just had a question. At what point should I be researching the high schools, and at what point do we start applying for the lottery system?
So there's gonna be Stiff, do you have that I think it was put in the chat earlier. It was a guidance, and maybe you just came, and we could probably just put it again. And it's
Yeah, I would say as a 7th grade parent now, start doing your research now. This is a good time to do it. And in terms of the application process, that'll be next year.
What are the resources for looking at the schools?
So if the My Schools account is probably the best bet for you right now. So once that account, you're set. You can go in there. There's a directory.
Gary in. He was like,
And you can search schools by different criteria. So there's all different filters that you can apply to see in terms of what you're looking for. And open houses also. I would say this year attend open houses, for schools that maybe you've just heard about them. And if they're doing an open house for this year's class, why not go? The information is power.
Okay, so you can actually go to an open house even if you're not applying this year yet. You're applying next year.
Yeah, I mean, you could probably double check if there's any indicator on there where the school has it, but I'm not aware of schools having it. And some schools are doing them virtually too. So there's a calendar that they put, which is actually a very good feature. Schools upload when their open houses are, and you can see everything right there. It's a very user-friendly calendar. It's almost like a 2 columns of a spreadsheet. You can sort it that way also by date.
Thank you so much.
Mm-hmm.
okay. Gary, did you want to unmute? Gary N. Okay.
I'm muted.
Yes, we can hear you, Gary.
All right, can you hear me, sir?
Yes, sir.
Oh, how you doing? Once again, my name is Gary Neely. I'm very familiar with school safety. I worked with school safety for about 5 years. I was assigned there, so I'm very familiar with some of the policies and some of the people that are actually in place currently at school safety. as well as DOE, especially Mark Rampersad, worked with him for years. I haven't spoken to him since I retired, but I'm very familiar with some of the issues as far as the safety in some of the schools. And that was the reason for my question. I know you had stated that parents don't want metal detectors in schools, which is true too. But like I said, based on my experience too, I know that administration also at some certain schools, not all schools, don't want the metal detectors or random scanning. I know, like, cause I've actually witnessed that where certain schools will come up with people who don't. Can everybody hear me?
Yeah, everybody can hear you.
Okay, if parents are not familiar what random scanning is, basically what it is, it's a school that's selected every day. Usually every day a school is selected. The administration is notified that the school safety division scanning unit will show up and they will set up metal detectors, and the students will be scanned, then, going into the school. And there was sometimes, we would get a lot of pushback from administration. Sometimes I've witnessed like schools being changed because administration didn't want school safety to show up to do the scanning. They would notify the students, let the students know that school safety will be here tomorrow to scan. So I'm aware that there are certain schools, like I said, as well as parents as well, who don't want the scanning because they feel it's a negative tag toward the school. And, there are some schools that have some alumni that are in, very high positions as well. And they will also request that certain schools don't be scanned. It's not a large number of schools, but there are schools that there are pushback when schools, they are selected for the random scanning, which I do at this time, at this current climate that we're in right now, I foresee it as a problem. My daughter was a high school student. She graduated from college. My son is a freshman in aviation. So, like I said, so I'm very aware as a parent now of what's going on. And like I said, and I kind of know some things. And like I said, there's still some people in school safety that I do still speak to on a regular basis. So, but I just think that's something that the DOE should really kind of take a stance on and try to at least have these schools, when they are selected, they shouldn't have the option to decide that they don't want to participate.
Thank you. First and foremost, Gary, thank you. Okay.
Yes. I'm sorry. I just wanted to jump in. I'm not sure, Gary, when you were with school safety, but I just do want to share with the group that's here the current rules with whether it be unannounced, random, or full time. Now, there's a process and a protocol that they put. I mentioned Mark. It's through his office to initiate or to take away scanning. So, I mean, I won't get into it here. It's involved, and there is a lot of communication with the stakeholders. So, in terms of a proposal to implement it certainly could not just be pushed off. Not under this policy. There would be a very transparent review. So, I just wanted to put that out there.
Yeah, well, I retired from the police department in 2014. I was assigned to the school safety division as a lieutenant. I worked at central headquarters, 2311. I worked out of there, and I was citywide. And I worked at school safety from 2007 all the way to 2012. So I was there for a few years. So, and like I said, I did go out with random scanning, was one of my jobs as a supervisor. I would definitely go to random scanning, and I would be there as a supervisor, because at the time we had uniform task forces assigned to certain schools in the city. So they would work along with school safety. And that's why I developed, like I said, my relationship with Mark. Like I said, I haven't spoken to him since I retired, but we worked hand in hand. I mean, Mark is very knowledgeable. I mean, always helpful. So he's definitely on top of everything as far as safety. But of course, you see through the cracks or whatever. So, but I mean, he's definitely very thorough, and I would definitely, he's the right person for that position. But like I said, being that I worked so intricately with school safety division and DOE at that time, and I know I've been, removed from the department almost going close to 10 years, and with school safety even more. But so I'm glad to hear that there are things in place now that are actually geared towards security and making sure that these schools and administration works with school safety as far as making sure that there's safety in the building.
Yeah, absolutely. I've been involved in both situations where schools have wanted to implement it and where schools have full-time scanning and they want to take it out. And like I said, the new policy, which Mark's office did bring in, I want to say about 2017, is very thorough and transparent. You know, it cannot be done with any shade. So.
Thank you. Glad to hear that.
Yep.
Thank you.
And thank you for your service, Gary. We really appreciate it. Congratulations on
Appreciate it. Thank you so much.
having
Thank you so much.
having a son in aviation and your other child in
Yeah.
college. I got a
Thank
senior
you.
now, so so we'll see how that goes.
That's gonna go
But
fine.
also for those parents that I've always told parents that have like an ill will towards scanning. I used to tell the kids this. I was like, they're like, oh, we're some kids would be like, oh, it feels like we're going to jail. I was like, do you feel like that when you get on the airplane, you're going on vacation to another country? I was like, because we're preparing you to fly the world when you go through scanning. Like think of it in that regards, because that's the same thing you're gonna have to do. You're gonna have to go through TSA. So this is practicing you to travel the world. That was my approach to tell the kids. And at the schools, we try to give the kids the best experience. When you're as administration and you work well hand in hand with school safety to give the kids and to give the guests that come into the building their best experience through going through scanning. So, and again, you can contact our office if you guys, have any questions about that. I put my email in the chat. So I don't see any other hands up. I want to get to some of the questions in the chat. Alice Tong, can I get Francis Lewis High School information for AS program, please? If you go on the website that Eduardo put in there, there has a link to Francis Lewis High School, which will also give you the information to how to contact that school, because you'd have to contact that school to get specific information for their AS program. High schools has any event or need to bring anything between July until September 1st. When will we know which high school kids accepted? Oh, Nilofer put this as an acceptance letter for high school. So Nilofer, we're really gonna have to hopefully we can, and when we join us next time, and we'll have somebody from enrollment to be able to answer all your questions. What I will do, if you guys give me a second, I'm going to try to find this document. Stiff, do you have that document, I believe, with the newest guidance?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, give me a second. I'll do a search for it right now.
All right. And
we may be able to get the answer right on the spot.
Yeah, we could put that in the chat, because they did have, it does give you a timeline as well, which is really good to have. Connie said, Connie, can you unmute? Are you still not in the IEP room? Okay, I think, and Antoinette, she's good. Oh, this is when they were booted out. I'm sorry, I'm going through the messages. Okay, so Alyssa O'Shea put, for the previous parent who is interested in hybrid learning, so this goes for all parents that were interested in hybrid learning, this new program under Superintendent Chang's portfolio. So you could click that link. The Zoom user that asked what school meeting is this? This isn't a school meeting. We are Queens North High School's Superintendent's Office. We oversee 26 schools that are considered under the DOE Queens North High Schools, and we are their Superintendent's Office. We have the superintendent here. We have the deputy superintendent here. We have Mr. Stifler, and we have myself. We have a large members of the team here to help out. Good question about that. As far as the vaccination, the parents, we are subject to the protocols that are decided with the DOE. And so, again, CCHS is a great place. Queens High School President's Council is also a great place. And you'll see, hopefully within the next week, we'll give you guys links to every be able to navigate our website and get answers to a lot of these questions. If you, Uchina Obasi, if you scroll up, Dr. Tu put in a link for specialized high schools, so you can follow that link.
David, the guidance says that the plan is to get offers out in March. So I'm going to actually drop a link to that page in the chat. Okay.
Perfect.
It has a variety of other deadlines and information on it too. It's really the landing page for high school admissions.
Thank you so much. So in the words of my coworker Eduardo, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. We are live on YouTube right now. There's probably like a 3 to 5 minute delay, if I remember correctly, on how live streaming goes with YouTube. But we are live on YouTube right now. So if you want to re-see this meeting, you guys can go back onto YouTube. And if you feel like you missed anything, or want some clarity, you can go back on YouTube and replay this entire meeting.
I'd like to encourage everybody that's still in the main room, take a minute or two to pop into one of the breakout rooms. I mean, we have a tremendous team and they are in there, dishing their expertise, even if you didn't come with anything specific, pop in and just introduce yourself or just hear what they're sharing. Some are fielding questions. Other ones have some information that they're going to be passing out. So definitely pop in, make the rounds.
Miss Lewis, you said nobody's letting you in?
Yeah, in the waiting room.
You're in the waiting room? Hold on a sec. I'm sorry. Let me check.
Swift, you should be able to just jump into one of the
you should
breakout
be
rooms.
able-
You're
you
in
should-
now.
Yeah.
So Louis, you're in. As long as you're in this room, you should be able to go.
Yeah, you should be able to just jump into.
I'm trying to change my computer because my phone is I'm on my phone, which is dying.
Oh, okay.
Oh, because I'm looking at right now as far as participants, it should show me on top that there's somebody in the waiting room, and I don't see that. And I don't see that on the top of my screen either.
Nor do I.
Okay. Got it.
You got it? All right. So again, I put Stifler put the enrollment information in the chat, and I just re-put the details for Screen Schools that Dr. Tu had put in the chat, so you guys can see that. I don't see any other questions. I don't see any other hands raised. Does anybody have any other questions?
Swift, I think we should do a plug for our partners in District 24. So
okay.
Community School District 24 is also going to be doing a high school parent information workshop on November 2nd from 6 to 7:30. Some of our team will be participating in that also, but if you're currently a parent of Community School District 24, that is going on as well. So that's another opportunity to obtain more information, ask more questions. Just wanted to put that out there so everyone is aware.
There's no silly question here. This is from the Greenberg family. Where can I return an unopened iPad that I received from my kids prior middle school, even though we never requested it? I called the school, I called the company that sent me that iPad. Both said to keep it. I don't need it. So I'm gonna drop my address in the chat and you could just UPS that to me. No. I prefer to give it back for the DOE kid that actually doesn't need it. So what you can do is you could return it to your child's current school. Or you can turn it to I can get it back to, if you guys want to return it to our office. I can get it to where it needs to be. I can contact DIIT. We can run a back trace on its on the serial numbers and to see where exactly that one belongs and get it back to the school that it belongs to.
David, we probably need to drop our district office address in the chat.
No problem. Just about to do that. Hold on. I hit enter by mistake. I'm sorry. So can I have somebody from my team help me out with our zip code? One, 354. So any other questions for anybody? You're welcome. Greenberg family, you're welcome. So R Cabrera, I don't, we spoke earlier as far as enrollment. I can answer you as far as like your chances of being placed in the middle school. We can just give you the guidance that the DOE has given us. If there's a school that you want to go to, put that school first on your high school application. These schools, Maspeth High School is not one of our schools, but check on My Schools on your My Schools account. They should be having open houses. The best place to get this question answered is during their open houses. Oh, do not apologize. I was actually just responding to these. I got a couple emails over the weekend as far as this is concerned with Francis Lewis High School. not having, for living in that district and not having a zoned school. And the rezoning, they did a rezoning around Francis Lewis. So what I did is the CEC actually was having for that district. I'm trying to remember what district, I think District 26 or 24. So your CEC, your Community Educational Council in each district has a meeting and talks about zoning and has, so that's something that you can send me an email and I can send it to them and they can contact you and get you more information on zoning and what's going on in the future of zoning. That's for the, there's no name, it says guest that just put their question in the chat. You're welcome.
David, I'm transferring the host rights to you. I was able to give a brief presentation in case any of our team members that are in the different breakout rooms would like to share their screen. They'll be able to do so by you just transferring the host rights to them.
Okay. So you, to continue on for guests, you just came in, so I don't know if you have access to it in the chat. I'm gonna give you I'm gonna put in this is the newest guidance. There's a link for the newest guidance on enrollment because it's heard and it's based on the new families' concerns of previous years. So they came out for new guidance for next year. And it also has a timetable as to when you should be applying and things of that nature. So let me see if my copy paste works. There we go. So I'm gonna, Eduardo, you want me to broadcast that the rooms are gonna be closing in a couple minutes? 7:24.
Yeah, I think you should just like give them
Alright.
maybe like a 4-minute warning.
4-minute warning?
4 minute to
Okay.
wrap.
No problem. Eduardo, you want to drop is he still in this room? I don't know if he left already. You want to drop
Yeah,
our
he dropped off.
Oh, he dropped off? All right,
Yeah,
so
what
then
do you need?
I'll copy and paste our YouTube link. For those of you that maybe came in a little bit late and want to see it from the beginning, we are live on YouTube, so this meeting will be on YouTube for you to go back on. So subscribe to our channel. And you'll see the link. I'm about to put it on for you right now.
And I also put our website up there. So we have a couple of links for resources.
Okay. Okay. Any other questions from anybody? I want to give everybody opportunity to speak. If I missed you in the chat, I apologize. I feel like I got everybody. Chen Abasi, did you ask your question? Oh, here we go. What is the system doing about school lunches that I am sure is being wasted because the kids are not eating it as they said? It is not nice. So I guess the question is about school lunches.
Yes, please.
David, I can say this, and to everyone who's with us, if you have any desire, your child or the school to make adjustments to the school lunch menu, we're actually working with the school right now to do that. There is a process. Reach out to us, and we'll speak, in a little more detail with you, and then see if it's something that we can get going. But we are definitely doing that right now in one school.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Alice.
David, you want to close the breakout rooms now?
Yes, we can do that now. Yep. Oh, 48 seconds and it'll be closed. It takes, sorry, I think I hit the
Yeah, it does a countdown
I
to
think
warn
I-
to
oh,
warn
is it
people.
counting
And
now? Okay.
yeah, so it warns people in the breakout rooms that this session is about to end.
Greenberg family writes, yes, please. The lunch menu was so great a few years ago. I understand the change, but not every kid likes meatless meals, beans, and hummus. So like Anthony Stifler said, my colleague Anthony Stifler said, reach out to us because there is a process for each school to be able to change its lunch. It is a process, but we are assisting and helping schools with that. So I do want to give a shout out to somebody who's in the room, Shirley Orban. Shirley, you want to say hi? She's the president of Queens High School President's Council.
Good evening. Can you see me now? Good evening, everyone. I am co-president with Barbara
Co-president. I'm
Williams.
sorry. I'm so sorry. I
Let's
forgot
not
that.
forget about Barbara.
Yes, let's not forget Barbara.
Good evening,
Is she
everyone. I'm
here?
glad to see. I know she was coming on her way home. I did
Oh,
not
okay.
look to see if she was on, but if she's not, she sends her greetings, and she'll be happy to see that initially there.
Oh, we must have lost you, Shirley. I'm sorry. So Shirley is a co-president of Queens High School President's Council. If you don't know who Queens High School President's Council is, they meet monthly, and their members consist of the PA, PTA presidents of each school in Queens. And you can also see us there. You see myself there and Eduardo there. We meet there monthly as well with them. And all right, so I want to. I want to thank everyone. The time is now 7:30, 7:31 actually. I want to thank everyone for coming out. This has been a learning experience for us, and we hope that you guys have learned something as well and been able to get your questions answered. I would like to, I guess, give the floor to Dr. Tu to say goodbye.
Well, why can't you say goodbye? You're the MC Swift. I'm kidding. Folks, thank you so much for spending your Monday evening with us. To my team, Abby, Dr. Jehoda, Lanine, thank you. Anthony, thank you. I know Bill was here too. We want to host this monthly as a forum for questions, and your feedback has been really, really invaluable. So thank you, thank you, thank you. You have our website, you have our contact information, you have our cell phone numbers. Please don't be strangers. However we can be better for you and your family, please let us know. And until we see each other again, please be safe. Enjoy your evening and the rest of your week.
All right, guys. Have a good night. And you see, that's
night,
exactly
everyone.
why you end the meeting with Dr. Tu. Warm
Good night.
wishes, guys.
Thank you.
Have a
Be
good
safe.
evening.
Good night, everyone. Take care, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you. Good night.
Happy birthday, Abby. I mean,
Thank
tomorrow.
you. I'm gonna go eat my birthday cake.
Did you say no to cake? Who said no to cake?
No.
You said no to cake?
But I said yes to a group lottery ticket.
I
Let
will
it be-
translate that. I will translate
it be
that tomorrow,
known.
Abby.
Okay. If it's
Okay,
Super
I'm in on that,
Don't we
Abby.
all want to win millions?
I'm in on that, Abby. I won't be in the office
wouldn't
tomorrow,
be?
so you got to include me.
We need that more than we need cake.
Eduardo, can we stop
Okay,
going live,
include
please?
me. I won't be in the office either, but count
A
me
lot of
in.
Please
cake
stop
with
going
that.
live
We
right
get
now.
one ticket,
Yeah.
and then everybody gets a picture, and we all share.
Okay, give me 1 minute. I have to get host rights
Let
back.
me give you host rights back.
Yeah.
Thank
Let
you.
me $2
Thanks, Connie.
again.
Good night,
All right,
everyone.
folks, have a good night.
Great
Thank
job.
you so much.